What up, everybody? Broman here again. Flying this time. That doesn't look like a P-47. Nah, this time I'm flying the 109 G2. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to show you exactly why this plane is an absolute monster. It's so fun to fly, and it's a really, really good plane. It's pretty much the king of its battle rating range. This is the plane that, when I'm flying the P-47, I fear most, and hopefully I'll be able to show you why in this video. It's an energy fighting machine. Its climb rate is incredible, acceleration incredible, it's got decent maneuverability, performance at altitude is incredible. I mean, there's very little that this plane cannot do. If you want to learn how to energy fight, if you want to work on your energy fighting, this is the plane to do it in. And it's, it's really, really fun to fly. Anyways, getting into the match though, here I am against the Russians. This was one of those frontline matches, so we got spawned in air start right next to each other, so I climbed into this, off to the side a little bit. I didn't want to fly right into the wall of enemies and get shot down. So right now everybody's sort of gone into that initial melee, and it's just me versus this P-63 up here. There's another Yak-3 in front of me, but you notice what I did there. That's the same thing I do in the P-47 all the time. That move, that tactic is universal. Fly at your opponent, avoid the head-on. He does the exact same thing that they almost always do. Pulls a hard G turn to follow me, and it takes away some of his energy, which leaves me with a bit of an energy advantage. So at this point, it's just me and this P-63. That Yak-3 dived away. I don't know what he was. Maybe he saw somebody who was an easier target, I guess. But I've still got this P-63 on my tail, and I've got to figure out what I need to do. So at this altitude, I'm pretty confident that the 109 can outclimb the P-63. So I'm going to try to utilize a very powerful tactic for any plane that's really good at, has really excellent climb rate. It's a spiral climb. You can see here I'm kind of just climbing, but I've got a little bit of a horizontal element to it, so as I'm climbing it sort of creates a spiral as I'm going up in the air. And for playing like the 109 G2 that just climbs like a rocket, this is a really excellent tactic to use against anybody, because they just can't follow you when you do this. Here pretty soon, when I feel like I've got enough of an altitude advantage over this guy, I'm gonna really crank up the climb, really increase my climb rate by a lot, and then I'm gonna tighten the turn in the climb. So what this is gonna do is gonna force him that if he wants to follow me, if he wants to pull lead on me, he's gonna have to turn inside my turn, and he's gonna have to climb steeper than I am to be able to pull lead, which should drain his energy. The tighter you pull on your stick, the more energy you bleed. But I kind of make a mistake here. I probably should have continued with my spiral, but I wasn't expecting him to be able to do what he's about to do. He just pulls straight up in the air, and he just hangs there forever, and he's able to get a good shot on me. I'm going to switch to his view, because this is kind of something that I find questionable. It kind of irks me a little bit, and it's just kind of crazy that people are able to do this. Now, I can't tell if maybe in the replay it doesn't show people using flaps, but this guy in the replay doesn't have his flaps deployed. He's at incredibly low speed, and he's able to just, I mean, look at this. He's still maneuvering his plane upwards, well below his stall speed. I mean, it's incredibly frustrating how people are able to do this all the time. And I mean, I don't know. I can't do anything about it. What's done is done. So I've got to figure out some way to overcome this guy. But at this point, I don't really know any real way to do it without taking another risk like that. I can't. This guy seems to be able to stick with me pretty well up here. I can still outclimb him, but if he can hang in the sky like that forever, I'm gonna have to take some sort of a risk. Anyway, so I'm extending away from him here, just kind of going into a slight turn to sort of throw off his aim, and I'm gonna try again. So I continue on with another spiral climb here. Gonna try the same thing again. At this point, I've kind of, I've got to take the risk. If he shoots me down, he shoots me down. If he doesn't, then I'm gonna end up in a better position. So I go into the climb, tighten it up. He's following me. Thankfully, the speeds get low enough that he can't get quite a good enough solution. I mean, he gets a few hits, but no serious damage. And then he stalls out beneath me, and I cut my throttle here. You can probably hear it. I cut my throttle all the way down. What this does is, I imagine he's still going full throttle, and he's accelerating out in front of me. I cut my throttle, and it forces the overshoot there. So there he goes down in front of me. I've won a 6 o'clock finally. Now I just need to fly smart here, stick to him, but don't do anything stupid to lose my advantage here. So he goes into a horizontal turn. I do not want to follow that, so I go vertical. He sees me go vertical, and if I continue, I'm going to be in front of his gun. So I cut off my climb, cut underneath him, and then resume my climb again. At this point, he's too slow from his climb to maneuver to follow me, so I continue with my climb upwards, roll over the top of him, and drop back down on him. So at this point, I'm just trying to maintain my positional advantage on him. Sometimes it's more important to just maintain your position and maybe play it a little bit more less aggressive. Like right there, he goes for the split S. I don't want to follow that. I don't even want to try to get a shot on him because that's just wasted energy in an attack run that I don't think I'm going to be able to get even if I try. So I go into the climb here. He just pulled a lot of maneuvers, bled a lot of speed. I don't think he has enough energy to get up to me, but just like before, he kind of hangs in the air. Here you can kind of see I cut my throttle pretty low. I cut it all the way down actually, and what that does is when I'm falling down on him like that, when I cut my throttle, it extends the period of time that I have to aim at him while I'm falling down on him. Whereas if I was still at full throttle, I would have accelerated, and my window of opportunity would have been much smaller. So that's kind of a cool little tactic that I use, even in the P-47. But it's a lot more risky in the P-47 because you can't gain that energy back. Here he's climbing, and I notice that, and I don't want to overshoot, so I cut my throttle again, and that puts him right there hanging in front of me for the nice easy kill. So throttle management, that kind of it's something that you use a lot more in the 109 G2 as well, because it's such an amazing plane at gaining, just producing energy. It just creates energy like crazy. So you can afford to cut your throttle every once in a while to reduce your speed, because this thing accelerates and climbs so well that you get that you can get that back very, very quickly. So he's out of the fight. That's my first kill. I'm debating whether or not I want to go land because I've got this oil leak and eventually my engine's going to start overheating, but my team is dead, superior German teams, that everybody likes to talk about. There's like 4 or 5 enemies left, so I don't think that I'm going to be able to land. If I land, I'm dead. So I figure, what the hell, I'll go down fighting. I turn back in. Sure enough, there's my first target, Yak 3, well below me. I've got a nice energy advantage over him, so I'm going to position myself to dive down on top of him. Let him fly underneath me, roll over, drop down, just pretty textbook boom and zoom attack here. This is where it gets a little bit embarrassing, because you don't get a much easier shot than that. And sure enough, I found a way to miss. But I look over to my side, whoa, that doesn't look good. Surprise attack by an LA-5. But you notice what I do here. I turn into him, and look what he does. Every time, maybe once in every 30 times you try this, you'll find somebody who's smart enough not to follow you. But I do that all the time. You just turn into them. They turn to follow you. I mean, it works like a charm. They throw away so much energy trying to follow you, and then you climb up, and now you're above them. So here I'm going to do something pretty sneaky. See that Yak 3 flying out there? I see him, and I'm going to try to kind of trick him here. I dive on this LA-5 initially, and a Yak 3 sees me, and so he thinks, oh, I'm safe to climb now. I'm going to climb so I can get a nice, good position over him while I'm attacking that LA-5. But I switch back to him, and he's hanging right in the air. It's a nice, easy kill. So he thought it was safe to climb, but it wasn't. Gave me a nice, easy target. Nice little trickery there that you can use, maybe. Here's another Yak 3 coming in. I don't think this guy has the energy to follow me. I go into a climb. He tries to follow me. He's going to hang in the air for just like the P63 forever, you know. I think I checked briefly, this guy got down to 50 kilometers an hour right there. I cut my throttle again, increased that window. He doesn't have the speed to maneuver, to aim at me, so I get a nice easy kill there. Now it's just me in this LA5. So I just gotta play smart here, continue what I'm doing, maintain my energy advantage. It's now 1v1, this is much easier. So I'm just gonna fly smart here. Stay in the vertical, avoid the horizontal. Should be a pretty easy fight here. He turns back at me. I'm still climbing. I drop down right out of my climb. He's right below me. I cut my throttle here because I was expecting him to do something else, which I should have kept. I shouldn't have cut my throttle, but he accelerates away. I get a nice little pot shot there, and I just tap the trigger, and I managed to take out his aileron, and so that hurts him pretty bad. He loses a lot of maneuverability. He's pretty much lost control of his plane at the speeds that he's going, and he's forced to. He spends a lot of altitude diving down, trying to regain control of his plane. And at this point, my engine is overheating pretty badly, so I'm decided that I've got to be more aggressive here, get this guy taken care of. We're right next to my airfield, so I'm thinking I'll take this guy out, and then I'll be right there ready to land and repair, and everything will be good to go. So dive down on this guy. No aileron. He's going too fast to really control his plane. I take some shots. Nice easy shot here that I actually do after a while land. Finally a nice easy shot that I can make. There's my runway, so time to put it down. See if I can land here. So they've got two more enemies. There's two more enemy players, and I'm a little bit worried because one of them has 2 air kills. The other one is a bomber, and it's a PE2, so I'm not really worried about him at all. It's just that other one that I don't know what he is. I don't know where he is, so I'm worried that maybe he's close by and he's going to strafe me while I'm landing. But my engine is, like, seriously about to die, so I've got to land. I don't have a choice. And I'm kind of crossing my fingers, praying to the War Thunder gods that they don't spot me here, or that they're not close enough to me. This thing takes forever to stop. I was kind of surprised how long it took me. Speed up the footage here because there's nothing really to see. I'm just sitting on the runway. Take off, and there's the PE2. So I see him, and I'm thinking to myself, this guy can't do anything to me. He can't win the match for them, you know, by ground targets. He's absolutely no threat. So I'm not going to waste my time and energy on fighting him. I'm more concerned about that other plane, whatever it is. At this point I don't know what it is. So I'm just going to leave him be. I'm going to climb, and if he's not going to mess with me, I'm not going to mess with him. So I'm going to let him go, wait until I can find that other guy. And sure enough, there he is, Mr. Yak 9. So I'm a little bit worried at this point. I don't know what this is going to be. Kind of a struggle. Yak 9s they have questionable flight models, notoriously questionable flight models. But here we go. Gonna try my good old high-speed merge tactic here. See if I can get him to throw away some of his energy. Zoom past him out of this merge. Very high speeds for him. I get him to turn. Look at this. Textbook. Clockwork. Works every time. This guy pulls a high G maneuver to follow me. Unfortunately, Yak 9T, he doesn't care about energy. He just continues on. So I'm still at an energy disadvantage here. I can't outrun this guy, so I've got to start going into some defensive flying mode. Now this next bit, it's kind of difficult to explain exactly, you know, play by play what's happening here. I'm just using my roll rate to sort of stay out of his gun sights, and I'm cutting my throttle every once in a while to force him to overshoot. I mean, I guess for me, what I like to do is I like to cut my throttle at the tops of these climbs. Like I'm keeping the fight in the vertical, right? I'm not turn fighting this guy. I'm energy fighting him by, you know, keeping some sort of vertical element into my maneuvers. And that's mostly because I just can't turn with this guy, right? So if he goes into a horizontal maneuver, I can't follow him, and eventually if I do that, he's going to outturn me. But another bit of it is that this the 192 just excels at climbing and gaining energy. Like its climb rate is incredible. So if I stick to the vertical, eventually I'm going to build up enough of an energy advantage over him that I'm going to be able to completely dominate him. So here I've won his 6 o'clock. I don't want to lose it though. He goes into a tight horizontal turn there. I don't want to follow him, so I stick up high. I stay up high and just turn after him slowly. Same thing again here. He does it again. I'm gonna stick to my altitude here and continue to gain some energy. He's, you know, not really gaining any energy performing those flat turns. If anything, he's throwing energy away. So I stick to a 6 o'clock here. Here he goes for a turn, and I think I might be able to get a shot on him. I just can't quite full lead. I don't want to follow him too much. Coming out of the attack, he pulls a hard turn, thinking that he can reverse onto my 6 o'clock. I go up into the vertical and adjust my climb so that I'm turning inside of him so that he can't get his nose at me. Same thing again here. Keep climbing. I mean, this thing just climbs like a rocket. This guy can't follow me at all now. At this point, I've got enough of an energy advantage that there's nothing he can do now. He's pretty much down and out as long as I don't make any sort of stupid mistake. Take a couple of shots there, and get a hit or two. Nothing serious. Doesn't really do any damage to him. Same thing again here. He's going to try to turn in on me. I just adjust my climb so that I'm turning inside him. Stick to the vertical, right, to reverse on him. Don't turn in the horizontal to get onto a 6 o'clock. Climb straight up and dive down onto a 6 o'clock. And just like that, he gets a little bit scared here, tries to avoid me, but there's some ground there. Well, there you go, folks. Energy fighting in the 109 G2. I'll catch you in the next one.